I'm Sal Polisi, and you've got the real deal, an original gangster. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, introduced to the mob as a little kid, maybe like 4 or 5 years old, by a swashbuckling uncle that I had. I was fascinated with the life. I mean, it was the 50s. These guys had pockets full of money, fancy Cadillacs, pinky diamond rings, and good-looking girlfriends. And to me, it was the sweetest thing since 7-Up being in that life. By the time I was 22, I had met this Dominic Cataldo, who was, they called him Little Dom. He was a hitman for the Colombo family. He was older than I was. And I was only allowed to be involved in gambling and a little bit of stolen merchandise. I knew I had to do something outrageous, so I went out and robbed my first bank to impress him. Of course, in those days, you know, there was no ATMs, and it was all cash, no credit cards, no alarms, no video cameras. It was like taking candy from a baby, robbing a bank. I think the 1960s and 1970s, in my opinion, really was the glamorous, glorious, golden days of the mob. Little did we know it was falling apart. By the 70s, with the huge drug trade that the mob was involved, there was no more rules. The people were killing for no reason. They were killing for money, where in fact you had to have a good reason to kill a guy back in the 1960s. I went to the penitentiary in 74, 75 in Lewisburg. When I came out, my close partner, Foxy Girodi, had been murdered by Tommy, the same Tommy that Pesci played in Goodfellas. And I decided to put the guns away. There was no more guns for me. I was going to be a drug dealer. So in '84, I was busted for dealing drugs, and I decided that my ace in the hole was a judge, a Supreme Court judge that I had been paying off over the years. And I went to the feds and said, look, I'll give you this Supreme Court judge. You give me a ticket out. Give me witness protection. I'll get my kids out of this New York City. They won't follow my life. And that's what I did. I went undercover, did a lot of wiretaps. The judge got convicted, and off I went to San Antonio, Texas. I didn't blend. I stuck out. I decided to become a writer, and before you know it, the government called me again and say, hey, you know what? We got a big case you got to testify against. And I had to testify against John Gotti, and everything changed. You know, I mean, that's what I was taught, never to reveal, never to testify, never to rat. But I didn't have any second thoughts about doing it because, I wanted my kids not to follow my footsteps.